going to be all about spine health. So how can we keep our back, our spine healthy? So just a quick little overview of the spine, just anatomy-wise. The base of our spine is our tailbone, our coccyx. And then we kind of have this triangle-shaped bone that comes on top of it and how our spine connects to our pelvis, and that's our sacrum. And then we've got our lower back, our lumbar spine, thoracic spine, the mid-back, and then cervical spine, the neck. So we're going to start out in a pose that stretches out the back. So we're going to start in child's pose. If you are flexible, you're actually going to keep your knees together as you come down into that child's pose. And if you're not quite so flexible, you'll bring your knees wide apart. And of course, as always, you can feel free to slip a pillow or a blanket between your thigh and your calf to kind of help ease that flexion. So as you come into child's pose, you're going to start to feel your mid-back, your lower back just start to stretch out. And if you're able to, you're going to rest your forehead down on the floor. You'll start to notice your breath here, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. So when we think of a healthy spine, we kind of think of, well, I think of two functions that the back really has for us. First is stability. So how strong is our back, especially because we have all these muscles and even our rib cage. We have so many structures that connect to our spine to help keep us upright, stable. And the second function is just the opposite, so it's mobility, flexibility, right? Our back moves forward and backwards. We've got side bending, rotation, all of these available movements to us. So we need to kind of have this balance of strength and flexibility. So as we're breathing here, I want you to kind of set your intention for practice today. What do you want to focus on for your back? Is there maybe posture and alignment in poses and how strong that back can be? Or maybe it's trying to get more of a back bend in your mid-back or more rotation one direction. So just think about kind of what you want your goal to be. And as you breathe in, you're going to focus on that intention. And then as you exhale, you're going to let go of expectation. So if you're working on more flexibility but you're stiff, we have to remember to meet ourselves where we're at, right? So we're going to practice ahimsa, which is non-harming. It's one of the yoga sutras, one of the yamas. And it really truly means being non-harming to our bodies, right? So meeting ourselves where we're at and not overextending ourselves, and also just being kind to ourselves with self-talk, right? If we're not as strong or as flexible as we wish we were, we're just going to practice ahimsa and be kind. Okay, no judgment, especially to yourself, because we're here virtually, and sometimes it's easy to kind of focus on that. So, starting to deepen the breath. Feel in child's pose how when you breathe in, that belly expands and you get to push out into your thighs. And take a couple more just really deep breaths, kind of filling up belly and the heart space. And then exhale, letting it go from the heart and then from the belly. This nice, big, fluid, supportive breath. All right, we're going to start to add some movement to our breath here. So on your inhale, walk your hands up towards your legs. And then lift your arms off of the mat into a little extension of the back, goalpost the arms. And then as you exhale, round forward, drop your palms back onto the mat and walk out, child's pose. Continue with your breath. Inhale, walking those arms back up, open up, tilt the pelvis forward, extend the back, and then exhale, round the spine, tuck the tailbone, walk the hands back out. So just moving with your breath. Couple more movements here. See if every time maybe you can deepen somewhere. Coming back to that intention, right? Where would you like to focus your movement? Last one. On that inhale, we're extending the spine, goal posting the arms, maybe looking up, extending the neck. And then exhale, come back into your child's pose. And then inhale, let's lift to tabletop. Right away, moving through a couple cat-cows. So drop the belly, tip the hips forward, squeeze the shoulder blades. And then on that exhale, round into cat pose, dropping the head, tucking the tailbone, and then moving through with your breath. And then next time you're in cow pose, so that belly dropping down, squeezing the shoulder blades, we're going to stay here and find just a little side bend. So walk your hands over to the right, and then kind of walk your hips over to the right too. Kind of a little side bend to the right. Really feel those obliques in the right paraspinal, so the right back muscles working here. And then eventually making your way over to the left. So you're staying in your cow pose. You're just finding that side bend the other direction. And then eventually making your way back to center. Find your cat, so tuck, round, let the head hang heavy. And then once again, finding that side bend. So walk the hands to the right, walk the hips over to the right. Feeling that length on the left side of the spine. And then working your way to the left. Beautiful, and then come back to center. Let's make our way into seated. So let's just find a couple cat-cows in this position here. So hands can be on the knees. We're just going to round forward. And then inhale, reach into your goat post. So you're extending, squeezing the shoulder blades, and then exhale, round. And then one more time. Inhale, goat post those arms, tip the hips forward. Beautiful. And then the arms come back down, they rest on your legs. Let's just drop the head down, so we're finding a nice stretch through the upper back and then also through the neck. So that chin is just reaching towards the chest. One more breath here. And then kind of thinking about the tip of your nose like a pencil. You're just going to draw a line up towards the ceiling from here. So keeping your head really straight, meaning you're not tipping side to side. You're just going to start to extend your neck, look up. Be really aware of that movement. Find that neck extension, stopping wherever your body is calling you to stop. And then drawing that pencil line right in front of you, back to center. Good. Let's turn our head to the right. So you're gazing over that right shoulder. Take your middle finger and your index finger and gently press on your cheekbone, just a slight overpressure into that neck rotation. And then slowly back to center. Let's keep the fingers there. And then one more time, gaze over to the right, adding that little overpressure at the end range. Nice, and coming back through center, all the way this time over to the left, and then switching the fingertips to that right cheekbone, giving yourself that little overpressure to turn left. chin tucks here. So we're just going to drop our chin down, kind of lifting from the crown of our head, and feel that stretch through the base of the skull. And then kind of back to neutral. So it's a really small movement here. Just tucking the chin, and if you want, you can use your fingers, so you can have your thumb and your index finger on your chin and just gently kind of tuck it. You're sweeping like the letter J, so you're lifting from the crown of your head. And then back to neutral. One more. Nice job. So kind of thinking about our posture here. If we're rounded back, right, it's really hard to have good posture. And that's kind of where we are a lot of times in life, right? Typing or watching TV or whatever. So think about stacking yourself so you're sitting on your sits bones, okay? And automatically there, that's when we engage our core. If we're here, it's really hard to engage our core. If we're too far forward, it's hard to engage our core. So kind of move your pelvis back and forth until you find your midline, and that's where your core will automatically engage. Okay? And then working our way up for a nice sitting posture, roll those shoulder blades down and back, and then just go ahead and tuck that chin. So you're lifting from the crown of the head like you're a little puppet on a string. Okay? Let's just take a couple of breaths here and just remember how this posture feels. Maybe even letting the eyes close. And then draw the hands to the heart. And let's just remember that intention. So take a big inhale in through the nose. Breathe in that intention. And then an open mouth exhale. Letting go of that expectation. All right, let's make our way back onto all fours. So here we're going to find tabletop. Engage the core. That spine is really neutral. Your gaze is down towards the top of your mat. And then draw your right leg behind you. Keep the toes down. And then we're just going to spin onto the edge of that foot, the inside edge. Open up into a modified version of side plank. Finding our balance here for a breath. And then exhale, close the pelvis back down to the mat. This time adding in the opposite arm here. So reach the right leg and the left arm. Exhale, draw the elbow towards the knee. 2 more. Inhale, you reach. Exhale, you draw it in. And then let's inhale and reach another time. Plant the left palm down. And then spin that pelvis open again until that right arm lifts. And maybe you keep your right leg up. Again, little version of side plank here. And then exhale, close it back down. And let's take it to the other side. Left leg comes behind us, toes stay down. Spin that left foot onto the inside edge and then open that left arm up towards the ceiling. Side plank. And then exhale, close the pelvis back square to the ground. Lift the left leg, lift the right arm. Exhale, draw elbow towards knee. Inhale to reach. 2 more. And then next time you're reaching, that right palm comes down, but open that left hip up towards the ceiling until you feel like maybe you want to lift that left arm. Nice strong glutes, strong abs to support that strong spine. And then exhale, close the pelvis back down. And let's step our knees back a little bit so we're in our plank pose. And you can be on knees or toes. And then pull that belly up and in. And that rib cage kind of curls down and in. Nice strength through the core. And then exhale, slowly lower all the way down to the mat, hugging the elbows in. And then draw your left cheek onto the mat. Let your arms come down to your sides. And just kind of notice how this stretches the neck. And if it's too intense, go ahead and bring your head back to neutral. And then let's lift the head up through neutral and over to the right. So just switching the cheek. Right cheek to the mat, gazing to the left. Beautiful. And then let's let the head come neutral. So tuck the chin, let the forehead come down to the mat. Bend your knees and gently just rock side to side. So the heels are just dropping, the feet are dropping either direction. Really gentle twist on our bellies. Nice, and then bring your hands just under your shoulders so the elbows are bent. And then draw the palms down on the mat just an inch or two and lift into baby cobra. So push the tops of the feet down into the mat. Use your back muscles to really lift yourself up. And then see if you can actually hover those hands. One more breath here. And then exhale, slowly lower down. And inhale, push yourself all the way back to child's pose. Finding some movement this time in our child's pose. Walk your hands over to the right. Feel that nice side bend on the left. And then walk the hands to the left. And then hands draw back to the center. Inhale, lift, plank on knees or toes. And then exhale, lower. And then inhale, lift, cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale, push back, child's pose. Inhale, lift to plank. So if you think about it, if you're ever concerned about how long your plank is, if you're coming from child's pose, you don't even need to move your hands. So if your arms are reaching out in front of you, that's where your plank is. And then you're just gonna tuck your toes. That's your plank, okay? So from here, coming to downward facing dog. So engage your core, start bending your knees, lift your hips up, and just kind of pedal the legs out. And then right away, we're gonna shift our weight to the left. So lift your right leg high. We're gonna open that pelvis again. So lift the right side of your pelvis. And maybe you just kind of wanna circle that ankle or circle that hip out a little bit. Good, and then close that pelvis and step your right leg forward. We're gonna come into forward fold, so take as many steps as you need to get there, Uttanasana. Release the head, start to feel that stretch through your hamstrings. And then inhale, halfway lift. So here our back is super flat, we're just hinging at our hips, okay? Fingertips on shins, thighs, or maybe on the mat. And then exhale to fold. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. You're gonna find a little side bend to the right, so grab that left wrist and pull it on over. Inhale through center, right away to the left, switch your grip. And inhale, center. From here, we're gonna come to a little rotation to the right, so sweep that right arm behind you, gaze to the right hand, that left arm can come down, so we're kind of in a little T position with the arms. And then sweep that right arm back up, take it to the left. And then sweep it up, mountain pose, little baby back bend. So either goal post those arms, or hands come to the hip to support the spine, and maybe you get a little deeper of a back bend when you're supported. And then inhale, lift, mountain pose. Exhale, fold. Step back, downward facing dog. step our right leg forward. But like I talked about, we want to be able to use the wall. So like for me here, the wall is on the wrong side. So I'm actually going to turn around, and I'm just doing this opposite so you guys can kind of get a grasp of what we're going for here. So if your right leg is forward, that's where we want to be to eventually get to our balance position on the wall. So that's how you want to set yourself up if you're using the wall, which you don't have to, okay? But anyways, from your downward facing dog, right leg is forward. We're in this little low lunge. And then we're going to walk our hands over to the left, so we're in this wide leg forward fold, okay? So if I thoroughly confused you there, you're just in a wide leg fold with your feet facing the left edge of your mat, okay? And then walk your hands to the left. Open your left arm up to the sky. Taking just a twist here. Feeling the stretch maybe a little deeper on the left leg than the right leg. And then using your core, you're going to lift your right hand off of the mat. So you're in this rotation and standing. And if your back feels comfortable with this and you want to go past neutral, you're just going to find a little back extension. So we're twisting and extending to the left. And then coming back to neutral. And then back to our fold. Left hand comes down on the mat too. We walk our hands over to the right. Left hand plants, right arm lifts as we twist to the right. And then strong core will lift you up. Maybe you stay in neutral, or maybe you take that back bend. And then coming back through neutral all the way down to your forward fold. Pivot your right foot back towards the front of your mat. Inhale, let's lift from here, warrior two. Good. So right arm is forward. And from here, coming to warrior one, so squaring the hips to the front of your mat. Arms reach overhead. And then here's where we're going to come to our little balance sequence. We've got warrior three coming into half moon. So lifting that back foot up. Our pelvis is square to the ground here. So if you want to even bring your hands on your hips, that will help you to feel that. And from here, we're opening up to half moon. So here's where you want the wall if you're going to use it. So you're getting really close to the wall in your warrior three. And then option to use the wall to lift into your half moon. So you're lifting that left side of the pelvis up, feeling that nice deep stretch through your right inner thigh. So the wall allows us to work on flexibility, right? We can get farther on the wall than we could if we weren't using it. So depending on what your goal is here, if you're on that wall and you can just really open all the way up. One more breath. And then exhale, warrior three, that pelvis comes down. And then forward fold. Release it all. Nice job. Very good. All right, step back, downward facing dog. And we'll find just some stillness in the down dog here. And then let's walk the hands back towards the feet, so we're in a forward fold again. Bring the hands to the hips, back stays flat. Inhale, lift yourself up. Okay, so we're going to do the same sequence again, depending on which side you want to face to be at the wall. So for me, my wall is going to be on this side, my left foot's going to be forward. So whatever side, your left side really, okay? So exhale, let's fold again. Come into your downward facing dog. And then inhale, lift that left leg high. And then open the pelvis here and find any little ankle rotation or hip rotation that you want. And then close the pelvis so your hips are square to the ground. Step that left leg through. So we're in this nice low lunge. And then from here, coming to wide leg forward fold. are facing a long way on your mat. They're parallel with the short sides of your mat. And then from here, let's walk the hands over to the right. Plant the left hand down. Inhale, lift your right hand high. And exhale, that arm comes down. Take it to the other direction here. Right hand plants. Inhale, lift the left hand high. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, hands come to the center. And then we're going to work our way back towards the front of the mat here. Inhale, lift, warrior two. Good. Left hand is forward. And then coming to warrior one, arms reach overhead. And then here's where we're coming to our warrior three. So the pelvis is squared down, and here's where maybe you move over closer to your mat. And then inhale, open the right side of that pelvis up, coming to our half moon. So if you're using the wall, you really want to get super, super close to it. So you can work on stacking your hips onto the wall. So it's just a totally different feel. We don't need to think about using the wall as being a crutch. It can actually help us to find length in the pose. And then exhale, squaring the hip back down towards the ground, warrior three. And then exhale, fold it forward. Nice. Step back, downward facing dog. And this time you're going to do it without using the wall. So inhale, lift your right leg high. Exhale, step the right leg through, and it doesn't matter which way you're facing anymore because we're not using that wall. And then coming to our wide leg forward fold. So pivoting that front foot towards the long edge of the mat. And then walking the hands to the left. Right hand plants down, left arm lifts. And this time let's lift ourselves up again off of the mat, maybe taking that back bend option. And exhale, coming back down. Walking the hands over to the right, left hand plants, right arm lifts, maybe you lift up and through into that back bend. And then exhale, fold. Hands come back to the center. Right foot turns back towards the top of the mat. Inhale, lift the arms, warrior two. Okay. Arms rise overhead, warrior one. We're going to try to do the same sequence without the wall here. So launch that back leg off, warrior three. And now we're using strength rather than mobility. You might not be able to get as far here. Just lift that left hip up. Keep your gaze out in front of you at that spot on the floor. And then maybe this time you kind of open your arms up too. And then with control, let's close the hips back as we come to warrior three. And then exhale, step it back, downward facing dog. Last time in this down dog here. Inhale, lift the left leg. And exhale, step it through. And then making our way into Prasarita, that wide leg forward fold. And then walk the hands over to the right this time. Plant the left hand, lift the right arm. We're skipping the little back bend here. So bring that right hand right back down. Walk the hands over to the other direction. Right hand plants, left arm lifts. Exhale, back to wide leg forward fold. Turn that left foot towards the top of the mat. Lift the arms up, warrior two. Good, arms come overhead. Square the hips forward, warrior one. And then we get to do our balance another time here. So launch that right leg up, warrior three. Maybe the hands are on the hips to kind of help you feel as you start to peel that right hip up, coming into your half moon. Working to stack those hips as much as possible. And then exhale, close the hips back down. And then coming into Uttanasana, forward fold, let it all go. Let that head hang heavy. And then inhale, let's find a half lift. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, rise the arms up. And then exhale, step the right leg back. Coming into crescent lunge. Exhale, draw the hands to the heart. Taking a little prayer twist here. So keeping the hands at the heart as much as you can. You're going to turn through your back and draw your right elbow towards your left thigh. One breath here. And then we're coming to chair prayer twist. So step your right leg up to meet your left. Try to stay in that little twist if you can. Good, and then lift back to just a regular chair, hands at the heart. And stepping your right leg back, open up, warrior two. So right arm is behind you, you're gazing over that left hand. Next breath takes us to reverse warrior. So left arm rises, right arm comes down. That left leg is still bent in front of us. And then lifting up, warrior two. Start to straighten your front leg out here, coming to triangle eventually. So once that left leg is pretty straight, we're going to tick-tock those arms, first reaching and then tick-tocking. So from triangle, we get to come into half moon. So if you want to use the wall, you just scoot over a step or so when you come to the wall here. You don't need to. So since our hip is already kind of open and stacked, we're just going to take a couple of steps with that right foot and then start to launch it off. Yeah. Good, and then exhale, close the hips, warrior three. You might fall out of it. Good, and then exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. So you're starting to learn about your body here, right? Is it easier for you to come into that half moon, or is it easy from warrior three? Or is it easier for you to come into that half moon from somewhere like triangle, right? So inhale, let's find a half lift. Exhale, fold it forward. And then inhale, sweep the arms high. And then taking it on the other side here. So step the left leg back. We've got our crescent lunge. So that back heel is lifted. We're on the ball of the left foot. And then exhale, draw the hands to the heart. And then we take our chair prayer twist. So left elbow comes towards the right thigh. And then step that left leg up to meet the right, chair prayer twist. Very good. And then slowly lifting up, chair, hands at the heart. Let's just kind of check in with our posture here, making sure our weight is on our heels. Good, and then stepping into warrior two. So left leg steps back, open up. Reverse warrior is next, so just right arm rises up, left arm comes back. And then inhale, coming back to warrior two. It's our little transition for triangle. So start to straighten that front knee. Reach your arms forward, and then tick-tock them. Left arm rises, right arm comes down. And then from here, taking as many steps as you need to launch that left foot up into your half moon. So you're trying to stack those hips much as possible. Keeping that strong gaze at a point on the floor that you feel comfortable with, because as soon as you gaze up towards that hand, it's going to really challenge the balance to a totally different level. And then square the hips to the ground, warrior three. And then exhale, release, Uttanasana, forward fold. And then exhale, step back, downward facing dog or child's pose. So whichever one you need, we're just gonna kind of regroup here. So if you're in child's pose, see if you can notice that maybe you've got a little more flexibility here than you did the first time through. Or if you're kind of more focused on that back strength and you're in your downward facing dog, make sure that core is really engaged. And if you're in child's pose and you want to stay here, stay here. If you want to work on that strength a little more and work your way into your downward facing dog. And those of you in down dog and you want more, I'm going to give you a little more, but you don't have to take it. You can stay in that down dog. So if you want a little more, you're going to lift your left leg high. Bend into your right knee and just take a little hop. So it's just like a little kind of handstand prep. You're just going to weight bear into the hands and lift a little kick. You're going to take one more and then switch sides or come into child's pose before you switch. So a couple tips here. You want to keep your gaze on the mat at one spot, and if that right leg is lifted, when you come down to kick into that handstand, don't bring your leg down. Keep your leg really high. So you're just going to bend into that left knee and kind of keep the momentum from that right leg up towards the sky. One more. Good, and then exhale. Let's all rest for a moment, child's pose. Good job, you guys. Really, really good. So reconnecting to breath here. Inhaling that intention and exhale, letting go of expectation. Inhale when you're ready, lifting all the way up, downward facing dog. And then stepping the feet to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, sweep the arms high. Exhale, let's step the left leg back. Crescent lunge, hand to the heart. And then let's bring that left elbow to the right thigh, taking that little twist in the lunge. And here let's fly the arms, so open the arms up if that's comfortable to you. Otherwise keep them at the heart. And whatever you wish. And then step that left leg up to meet the right. And inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, sit into your chair. Step that left leg back again, warrior two. Reverse your warrior, right arm lifts, left arm comes down. Inhale, warrior two. Start to straighten your right leg. Reach your arms forward, reach your body forward, and then tick-tock, triangle pose. Taking as many steps as you need to get to your half moon. So slowly lifting that left foot up. And then right away, square the hips down, come to warrior three. If you need the wall or your mat to balance yourself, totally normal. And then Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Step your right leg back, crescent lunge. Hands come to the heart. And then let's find that prayer twist again. Right elbow to the left thigh. And then option to fly those arms. Reach your arms really wide. Good. Step your right leg up to meet your left. Chair pose. All the way up to mountain. Reach your arms overhead. Exhale, sit into your chair. And then right away, that right leg comes back. Warrior two. Reverse your warrior. Inhale, lift back up, warrior two. Start to straighten your front leg, triangle pose. So we're gonna reach forward, tick-tock the arms. Hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked. As many steps as you need to get that right leg lifted into half moon. And then right away, exhale, close the hips, warrior three. It takes a lot of strength to do that. So just be patient with yourself. And then exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. So let's kind of heel toe our feet a little wider. So we're kind of hip width distance with our feet. And then if it's available to you to actually slide your palms underneath your feet, you're gonna do that. Otherwise, maybe you're just gonna grab your ankles. Anywhere where you've got your hands connected to your lower body. Okay. And then inhale, we're gonna find some length in the legs. So you're feeling that pull in the hamstring without sacrificing your back. So you wanna try to keep your back as flat as possible, really hinging from the hips. And then exhale, you kind of let it go. Let your head hang heavy. And then inhale, you find some length. And then exhale, you kind of let it go. It's a little active stretching here. One more time. Inhale, get long. And then exhale, fold deeper. And then slowly releasing the hands. And let's come down to kneeling. Come to camel here. So my goal is for flexibility. So I'm going to actually support my low back to help myself get more motion. If your goal is strength, you may not go as far, but you may not be supporting yourself. So as we come into this back extension, there's a lot of different ways to do it. But I want you to feel like you're opening through your spine rather than just taking your most flexible point and hinging, okay? So let's all start with bringing the hands to the hips and just kind of push your hips forward so your hips are really stacked over your knees. And then we'll find some extension through our upper back. So maybe tipping the head back if that's comfortable to you, squeezing your shoulder blades, but really engaging your glutes. So squeeze your butt muscles. And then inhale, lift yourself back up to a half kneel. So option to stay there, hands supported. If you're looking for more and you want to reach for your heels, you can do so. But if you're reaching, make sure you're not tipping back, but that the hips are staying stacked over your knees. Otherwise, you're staying in that supported position. Squeezing the glutes wherever you are. One more breath. And then slowly lift out of it using control. Finding a little counter pose here. One more child's pose. So knees can be wide, knees can be touching. Wherever you want to be, just let your head rest down towards the earth. slowly walk your hands towards your knees and then sweep your way onto your bum so that your legs are out in front of you. Okay. So a strong back requires a strong core, so we just got a quick little core work here. Navasana or boat pose. So keeping your spine really long, staying on your sits bones rather than onto your tailbone. You're just going to slowly lift one leg or maybe both legs up. Or maybe you keep them both down and you're just working on that stability of the straight spine. And if you want, you can kind of reach your hands behind your thighs for a little extra support. If you feel like you don't need that support, maybe your arms are out in front of you, palms lifted towards the ceiling. And then a couple options to get onto your back here. You can just use your hands, work your way there, or exhale, lower to a low boat, little canoe pose. One breath here, feel the shake, and then exhale, slowly lower all the way onto your back. If you've taken the version of just using your arms, just make your way there at your own pace. Inhale, let's bring the arms overhead. So we've got a full body stretch here. We're going to find a little side bend, so work your heels and work your hands over to the right. Good, and then take it to the other side. Heels and hands over to the left. Good, and then back through center. Draw your right knee into your chest. And then draw that leg across the body. So take it with your left hand. Reach your right arm out to a T. Little supine twist. Then we're going to roll over onto our left side. And that right foot is going to plant down. So the sole of the foot is on the ground, right knee is bent. And then inhale, lift your left leg up. So you should feel that engage your inner thigh. And then flex your toes towards you. And then slowly lower that leg. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And just a few more with your breath. Kind of getting a muscle that we don't work a ton, so we're just isolating those adductor muscles. Really important to the health of our pelvis and our sacrum. 2 more. And then slowly roll onto your back, draw both knees into the chest. Maybe take the knees really wide and just kind of rock it side to side. Good, and then eventually bringing that right leg long and really hug that left knee up into the chest. And then when you're ready, you're going to pull that left knee across the body, opening your left arm out, taking a little supine twist to the left. Good, and then rolling over onto your right side. Plant the sole of your left foot onto the ground. And then let's find that adductor strength on the right. So flex the toes towards you. Inhale, lift that right leg up. May not go very high, just a few inches. Then exhale, lower. Couple more here. Just with your breath up and down. No need to hold it. You're just going slow and with control. Good. And then rolling onto your back, draw both knees again up into the chest. Just kind of rock it side to side. And then let's take a little half version of a happy baby here. So keep that left knee hugged into the chest. Little straddle out to the right. You can grab your calf, your thigh, or the inside arch of your foot. And you're just gonna bend your right knee, keeping that foot out. So you're kind of feeling that stretch through the groin. And maybe you want to kind of rock it side to side, maybe smile truly in that little half happy baby. And maybe you want to make it into a little half straddle and start to straighten that right leg out. Feeling that deeper stretch into your hamstring. Good, and exhale, release. Bring that right knee into the chest. Half happy baby on the left. So grabbing thigh, calf, inside arch of the foot, and then pull that left leg towards you. Feel that compression through the left hip and that stretch in the left adductors, the groin muscles. And again, maybe adding that little side to side rock. Good, and then option to straighten that left leg out, bringing it into a little half straddle. Good, and then bend both knees, a little rock side to side again. And then this time coming into a full happy baby. So now that we're doing both sides, if you were grabbing the inside arches of your foot, maybe now you have to grab your calf, right? It's just gonna change the pose a little bit. We're stretching from both sides. So bending both knees, feet are out really wide. Try to keep your spine really straight. So if that tailbone wants to tuck up, try to push the tailbone into the mat, tuck the chin, keep the spine really long. You can find stillness or find that gentle rock. Beautiful, then release your grip. Bring your feet up to the sky, little legs up the wall. Stretch your toes back, and then we're gonna find a little high-heeled foot pose here. So you're gonna push the balls of your feet up towards the ceiling, but pull your toes back towards you. Good, and then release the feet, but keep those legs up. We're gonna find a little core work one more time here, because again, that's so important for strength of the spine. Arms are reaching towards your toes, and then slowly you're going to lift your chin and lift your shoulder blades up off of the mat. And exhale, slowly lower down, so you're feeling that shake. And then inhale, lift shoulder blades off the mat. Exhale, slowly lower. Bend the knees as much as you need to make this comfortable and doable for you. We've got 3 more. Reaching and slowly lowering. Try to keep space between the chin and the chest so you're not just crunching on your neck here. Good. Next time you lower down, let the legs come down slowly and bring them out really long. One more time, inhale, reach, full body stretch. Point the toes, reach the fingertips, kind of wiggle the hips side to side. And then exhale, draw both knees into the chest. Let's just find some circling here. So just big circle with the knees. Keeping them really hugged together this time. Good, and then change directions here. Good, and then releasing the legs. Finding your final Shavasana here. So, taking a little scan of where maybe that spine is holding tension. where can you let go? So if that neck is extended, can you kind of tuck that chin a little bit, find length through the base of the skull? Can you squeeze those shoulder blades back to allow for space in the mid-back? Maybe just a quick bit of awareness to the belly for support to the low back. And then just maybe noticing where your pelvis is, if you can kind of find a little neutrality in that pelvis to protect your sacrum and your tailbone. And then just kind of letting go. Let the breath be natural. And stay here as long as your body is calling you to. Otherwise, if you're ready to find some movement, wiggle the fingers or toes. Find any movement that feels comfortable in your back, maybe a full body stretch or drawing the knees to the chest, whatever you need. And then eventually making your way onto either side. And then slowly coming up to an easy seat. And before we're done here, we're just going to kind of explore the motion of our spine and sitting really quick here. So let's take a little rotation over to the right. So inhale, lift your arms high. And then exhale, twist to the right, setting your arms down, just kind of wherever they naturally come to. Use your core to turn yourself as far as you can to the right. When you can't get any further, let your hands help you. And then lift those hands. See if you can stay there. Good, then slowly coming back through center. Inhale, lift the arms high. Let's just even it out and take it to the left. So turn, turn, turn as far as you can using your muscles. And then exhale, release the hands. Let them help you to turn a little further. And then lift those hands and see if you can stay turned as far as you can. And then slowly coming back to neutral. Taking a little fold here, walking the hands out in front of you. And then walk those hands back towards you. Inhale, go pulse the arms, back bend. And then inhale, reach those arms high. Last little bit of motion here. Grab the left wrist, pull it over, side bend to the right. Inhale through center, switch your grip, side bend left. Inhale to center, exhale, hands come to the heart. So just kind of exploring all those motions. We've got bending, extending, rotation, side bend, and all the combinations, right? So all of those movements are so healthy for the back. So as we move on with our days here, let's close our eyes. And we practice ahimsa, that non-harming. The worst thing we can do for our back is to be still and not move. So don't be afraid of moving through the back. Let's keep ourselves healthy, strong, flexible, adaptable, and of course, non-harming to ourselves and to others. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste.